Brian, shit's gone real bad.
Yeah, traffic on the I-90 East is fucked. Don't try to go that way.
It's bad.
It's also silent. Oh, there we go.
Now I hear it. This is The Last of Us.
It's just you and me in this little room.
Actually, everyone else went to E3. we were recording this This is like one of the last things we're doing before we leave the office.
This is maybe more terrifying than going to E3. This is comparable with going to E3.
I'd say
as far as how nerve-wracking and exhausting and terrifying the experience is.
So I want to say up front, The Last of Us is a story-driven experience. I believe queued up 2 out-of-context sequences that should not give away too much about the game.
Or its story.
And as I do that, I think I have to put on subtitles. Game.
There we go. Subtitles, difficulty normal.
But, you know.
I guess this is what these buildings look like up close.
That's save.
Viewer beware. We're going to show sections of The Last of Us. So
if you're trying to go in impure, be aware. I've tried to be careful that we're going to hide the chapter select when we switch to the next area, but you know, there's only so much I can do.
But so without, I guess, giving too much of the specifics away, we are dealing in a post-viral apocalypse world here.
Yeah, Naughty Dog has their take on the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
In their form, it is a fungal infection that has gotten out. It's not super clear why,
but it's a lot of the familiar reactions and sort of consequences of that scenario of societal breakdown, as far as just the infection goes, of people turning crazy and being able to infect other people. There's some sort of airborne thing.
Yeah, there are spores that you ingest. If you get bitten by or scratched by an infected, then you'll become one of them. This game plays and tries to subvert a lot of the tropes of the zombie, traditional zombie fiction, while also kind of putting its own spin on it. It's not afraid to play in a very familiar genre, but they, I think, quite successfully say, you know what, we can do it better, and I think they definitely do, and they do it in a way that the Telltale played around with in The Walking Dead by just treating it very seriously.
Right, like one of the things in this, like you early on when you were playing this game, Patrick, you said that you were getting, and I don't want to imply that this means anything mechanically, but a real survival horror vibe in that it has that sense of scarcity and that sense of fragility for your character, where you don't have a lot of ammo for the weapons that you're carrying.
Yeah, but I've got 10 bullets.
Yeah, you have 10 bullets. A lot of the time, avoiding confrontation is vital.
Yes.
If not just a viable option.
Yeah, so this is pretty early in the game. Eventually you get access to like 6 and 8 weapons.
Healing happens in real time?
Yep. So this would be where you do all your crafting. Right now I can only craft shivs.
Oh wow, and this is like Zombie U style where...
Yep, it's happening real time in the game. You're using items that you collect. Oftentimes, as you can see, this requires blade and binding.
Mm-hmm.
And
to create a shiv.
Most often, creating one thing means that you're not going to be able to create another.
Mm-hmm. Except for bricks.
Yeah, bricks and bottles are everywhere. Mm-hmm. You use these as distraction tools. If there is a creature in front of you, there'll be a little reticule that shows up over them, so you can kind of just whip it at their face. But more often than not, you're going to be tossing this stuff pretty specifically to distract folks.
And when you say creature, you mean dude, right? Like, are we getting too fantastical in this game, or do we not want to talk about that?
Yeah, you fight mostly dudes, but
okay.
they have some variations on that as you go about.
Hey, Tess.
And you've also described this as kind of being, or feeling like Naughty Dog's response to a lot of the criticisms leveled at the last few Uncharted games, as far as them being these huge splashy adventures where you're playing as this sort of, this likable devil-may-care kind of guy in Nathan Drake. where there is this dissonance of that characterization and him being a horrible mass murderer.
Right, exactly. And we all know why that exists. Like, it's in the service of fun.
And you accept it as sort of like, yeah, I have to shoot a bunch of dudes because video game.
Right. And it really did feel like with this game, they sort of internalized a lot of those criticisms. You know, the term that got popularized was ludonarrative dissonance.
I don't know if we'd say popularized, but it was one that was used.
It became very common when you were talking about the Uncharted games. And it does feel like, in general, they took a lot of those criticisms to heart, or at least, if you don't want to go that far, they decided they wanted to make a very different game that also built upon the DNA of what they're very good at.
All right. Let's stop talking about The Last of Us. Let's play this game. What is our current situation?
We're headed to the Capitol building.
Parents went away on a week's vacation.
Exactly. We are paired up with Ellie, you know, the Ellen Page lookalike, and Tess, who I have been working with for a number of years now. It is not super implied how much time that is, but they are together at the beginning of the game.
Okay, so an adult companion for your character. For the Troy Baker character here.
There is a reason. I'm not going to disclose about why you're with Ellie and why you end up escorting her, but all of that becomes clear pretty early in the game.
So we're running around. Do we know explicitly what city we're in here?
Damn it.
I think it's Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's the fungus taken all the way, huh?
Yeah, that is one of the variations called a clicker.
Blind? Sort of. They see using sound. Like bats? Like bats. If you're the one clicking, you gotta hide. That's how they spot you.
And again, for all of the, splashy, exotic locations that Uncharted took you to, this game seems to be all about the dark and the grimy and the despair.
And there's just not a lot of, I mean, if you play these games like I do, on the normal difficulty setting, I ended the game with way too much stuff, and I've heard that if you play it on the harder difficulty settings, that's not as true.
Yeah.
So if you know that's the way you play these games, where you're just a hoarder, you might want to ratchet it up a bit, because the game's first like 6 hours were some of my favorite because everything was so scarce, and I was just able to subvert that by being a collectionist. So if you find that you would be the same way.
I wonder what the solution for that is, because that's an issue in a lot of games that.
All right, hold on a second. One cool thing that I think this game does that not a lot of games do is that when you get injured in the cutscenes, it's reflected in your actual health. So often that's a weird dissonance that occurs where the character gets the shit beat out of them in a cutscene.
Right, or in a little quick time event like that.
Right. And then you just end up with your full health when you come out of it. And in this game, several times, if you take a bullet or get hit, that is reflected when you come out on the other side.
But, a earlier 2013 Troy Baker hit in BioShock Infinite, that was a game that had a ton of stuff, and games that have you, hunting around the environment, scouring for things like that. It can be tough to kind of read, like, should I be using this stuff?
Right.
Should I just be tearing through this stuff because I'm going to find plenty more of it, or is this stuff going to be super rare? And maybe that's like a valid metagame to be playing, but also I feel like a lot of the time it kind of takes you out of the moment.
Yeah, and I think they address that in this game, especially talking to some other reviewers that played it. It's really addressed as long as you just kind of jack up the difficulty. So normal is made that they want people to see this game to the end. So you really get that survivalist added atmosphere up front. And you can ratchet that up if you want it by just making it a little more hard.
There's a way through.
It's funny because as much unlike Uncharted this is,
It's clear. Come on, Ellie.
like they're operating with a lot of the same basic sort of mechanics of you know, traversal, gunplay, you know, cinematically framed action sequences.
Big guy. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, this is very much from the developers of Uncharted. It's just so tonally different.
Yeah.
And
Go.
here we go.
Going for tension here. You ever get distracted with Troy coming hot off of the role of Booker in Bioshock Infinite?
If you hadn't told me they were the same guy, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
So, if you hold on R2, this is one of the big things they do to allow you to understand what's going on in this game. You go into this listening mode. So you can see that clicker when it's making noise.
Yeah.
And what you want to always be doing is making those guys go in the direction you are not. Especially early on, you are just not in a position to really handle them too well. The enemies only react if you are seen. So your AI companions, there will definitely be times where the enemy should spot them and everything should break, but the game just sort of
fudges it.
It fudges it, and it's not perfect, but I think it's a better option than
Shitting my pants.
people you can't control screwing up your strategy.
Right.
Let's go.
Okay, down and over.
Give me a second. There you go, ladies.
All right.
One of the small things that's really impressive with this game is there are a number of occasions when you're with Ellie where you kind of have to move things around to get her across different areas.
This is crazy.
And usually that's such an annoying thing in a game because like you have to get someone in such a specific spot to get the AI to react, and that never happened to me in this. Like every time it just was like, it couldn't have been that I was just in the perfect position every time. It's just that the game adjusts in a way that makes that all feel really natural. And
Oh, I don't like this part.
Come on, Ellie. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this at all.
Just don't look down.
Don't look down.
Oh, fuck you. Oh, it's far. You know, it's not the looking down, it's the width of the edge that you have.
Sure.
That's what really triggers my my fear of heights.
Okay. Oh, all right. New weapon.
So what are the limitations of Joel's hearing ability here?
So
these clickers are making noise.
It's based on sound.
Okay.
And you can upgrade that. So if it's going to teach me this. So the reason those guys show up is because they are making sound. There are times you'll encounter infected that aren't making sound, and so what you want to do is you want to throw bottles and bricks in order to get them to start appearing. And you can, as you collect these little pieces of medicine throughout the game, you have different options of what you can upgrade. And the one I invested in super early, and there's a reason that like it's listed as 20.
It's cheaper than everything else out the gate here.
Yeah, I ended up investing in all of those very early on because I wanted to play stealthy. The game encourages stealth, and having more access to that, it just means it goes further out.
But if they aren't making noise, they're not going to show up.
They're not going to show up.
At all.
So you can add them through line of sight. So if you go around a corner and notice them, then they'll get added to sort of like your personal radar. But
okay, and they will stay there then.
It'll change over time.
They don't have to keep making noise, or they do have.
Have to keep making noise. So eventually, like you might lose them.
Okay. But if you can't hear them, you can use line of sight to add them to your little radar.
See, like there's
here.
one that wasn't showing up at first. There's another one that's coming now because he's closer.
So what's your play here?
I'm gonna try and take this guy. So
that just looked like a man.
So those are the normal infected, like your traditional, just regular zombies. You can choke them out, which is loud and takes about 5 seconds, or you can shiv them from behind, but that also uses a shiv.
Okay.
And until you upgrade them, your shivs are a one-time use, and then they're gone.
Got it.
I don't have any fancy items like Molotov cocktails, and this is a section where you have to kill everyone to move on.
You've got bricks.
I do, but those bricks do not kill anyone. I can use them as distraction tools. This section.
But you're
took me a
saying
couple
that
times the first
a
time.
choke out makes a lot of noise?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see how.
So
long
how can you tell if they can see you?
It's kind of just you get a better sense of it
their
over time.
behavior.
The clicker you can walk like right in front of. It responds to sound. So there are things scattered throughout the environment that are trying to trip you up and to produce. Where's that guy? See, I lost that guy for a second. I don't know where he's gonna come to.
Oh.
Right, I'm gonna just let him mosey on past. So this is a section where you do have to take everyone out because you need to get all 3 of your guys through.
Yeah.
That is rarely the case.
Okay.
Most sections, you can skip whole swaths of enemies. Let's see if we can distract someone to get in here. Hey, buddy.
So you're saying oftentimes you will find yourself with there are dudes and there's a door.
Yep.
Screw it, just take the door. What about this fat piece of bar that you've got
here
over
we
here?
go.
Oh,
Let's see if we can choke this guy out.
you're isolated.
Oh shit, he saw me. Did he see me? Yeah, that's the...
Oh, there's another one.
Yep, they're all gonna... Oh, and that clicker is a one-hit kill. So we are gonna have to try and make a stand here. This shit's brutal. Alright, where are you? Alright, so you can...
Stay silent.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, except for that did not work.
Alright, hold on. You right, clicker. Oh shit, wrong button. So those clickers, yeah, because they are line of sight, it's even though they are one-hit kills, you can kind of, okay, get out of here, reset myself. So
Go be silent somewhere.
right, and if I grab one of these, I'll get this bad boy to head over there. And if I can
He's your last dude, right?
Oh, he moved. He turned around. I was gonna try and shiv him.
All right, come on down.
So a whole lot.
Oh, fuck that! God damn, that was stressful to watch.
So a whole lot of the encounters are trying to manage the different kinds of infected, what their characteristics are. So those clickers, they also they can't see light, so you can run through a whole maze of those guys, and all you're doing is just like grabbing bottles, throwing it to the left, and you're using your light to get through because they can't sense that. But damn, it gets really tense, and that's why I recommend that people maybe jack up the difficulty, because as soon as some of that tension is lost, like it loses a lot of what I enjoyed about the early moments of the game.
Sure.
Especially once you've got like access to 8 weapons, and it no longer really matters like what you're using.
Like playing this game as a more traditional shooter seems like that's not
That is
the
a
appeal
folly.
here.
You are going to run out of ammunition.
But I mean, even if you reach the point where if you are, saving up your stuff early on, and thus having, removing that sense of desperation, that would negatively impact the Last of Us experience pretty significantly.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna check this room, and then I think we're gonna move to the next section because you oftentimes you will go long stretches of time, hours at a time, where you will not see an infected. It's alcohol. And then you'll fight human enemies. You fight lots and lots of humans in this game. So you see in this case, like, you don't have enough rags. Building the shiv.
Whoa. Down we go.
There are a lot of moments in the game where, you know, I mean, like, the character you're playing as, Joel, he was around before all this started and has survived 20 years of it. You know, Ellie has not been around for this. So oftentimes she will see things, especially as you start going outside of these quarantine zones. And there are these really great character moments where Joel has to basically explain, like, what life was like. There's this one moment where you run into a bunch of, like, Victoria's Secret type posters, and she's like, why were people that skinny? It's like, well, you just, you know, Joel's like, you didn't eat, people wanted to be rail thin, and she's just like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, there's just, like, really great moments like that all the time.
She has this pure survivalist perspective on things.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to eat the food you have? All right, well, we're gonna cut to something really quick while I switch over to the next chapter, because I don't want to show the chapter screen to spoil where the story goes.
So we will cut away for a second here. This is a contrived break here in this quick look, but it is for your own sake. And we will, when we come back, we will be loaded up in a completely different section of the game.
Yep.
So hang on for just 1 second.
But we haven't left you. We're still here.
Some good cheery Last of Us music.
I mean, one thing people have been asking me is, how fast should I play this game? Is this, you know, a game? You know, because people get afraid of spoilers, and if there is, like, you know,
I mean, fast
a five-word phrase that's gonna, like, spoil everything for you, that doesn't exist in this game.
Yeah.
The story cannot be spoiled.
It doesn't strike me as that.
It's not a game about twists.
No.
And also, it's like so emotionally draining. Like, I just would not recommend playing it like that. I played it in 2-hour chunks. We got the game early enough that I was able to do that, and that's kind of the way I would recommend it. It took me like 17 hours to play. It's draining. It's emotionally draining, like, just very little hope. It's not a traditionally fun game, and I think that, you know, that could potentially rub some people the wrong way, and I think that's a good thing for the medium. We can cut back now and watch this lengthy loading screen.
Of spores.
Yeah.
We're playing this on a
yeah,
debug.
it's a debug. You know, it's final code, but, you know, not a retail disc. So these loading screens were pretty long for me, not necessarily reflective of what you're going to see on the retail disc.
Generally speaking, debug discs, the data's not been optimized on the actual platter of the disc.
It can be a little funky.
To load as fast as possible. So, yeah, this stuff is, again, not representative, but I do like this little spore effect.
Yeah, it's nice. So the section we're loading up is a little bit later in the game. Ellie and Joel are on the road, headed somewhere, and shit goes bad as they are trekking along. Yeah, big shocker.
Something goes bad in this zombie scenario.
And that's actually one of the things that sometimes gets a little tiring about the game, is that around every corner it's like, all right, well, how is this going to go wrong? How are bandits going to show up? How are infected going to show up?
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels a little bit contrived. But like BioShock and maybe Metro, because I played it recently, there are lots of quiet moments. There were times where it really did feel like it was about 20, 30 minutes before you hit another combat encounter, and they really stretch those moments out and use them very well.
I'm okay.
Then get out, quick.
So everyone just woke up, had a nice night's sleep.
Yeah.
Hey, it's their buddy. Their buddy Chicken Shit.
Yeah, he's being kind of a jerk. He didn't get his rations.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't shown here. I don't know if they've shown a huge amount of... Oh, gosh. Prior to the game's release, is that there are... Look how great these characters look.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not all the time that they look fantastic, but there are definitely moments where... they emote really well, or... they kick each other in the fucking face really well.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That guy, he broke his fucking jaw.
What's wrong with these guys?
Oh, yeah, Ellie swears like a sailor. It's awesome.
Watch out!
She is very capable. She is definitely a girl that has grown up in the shit.
In these tough situations.
And it is very much reflected.
But there are these, like, what passes for society in this world, quarantine zones.
And these are people that live outside the quarantine zones. These are people...
But she was you were
Yes.
just referencing the rations and stuff, that there is some semblance of that.
Son of a bitch!
But so even with, you know, live non-zombified enemies, trying to get the jump on them this way and using your environment definitely seems key.
I'm gonna check out this.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Well, you got his attention.
Oh shit! You're dead, asshole.
The game really uses that.
To say your weapon just snapped there.
Yeah, the weapons you can upgrade them, and you can upgrade your crafting speed, because right in the middle of battle, like, is not. You can be doing things, but man, you don't want to be doing them. All right, so I've upgraded my melee weapon so that it becomes its first hit is a one-hit kill.
I'm gonna look around out here. You guys, go look down there.
So in scenarios like this, do you have to be worrying about Ellie's survivability, or
No. Well, they can grab her, but it's not something I dealt with a whole lot. Like, you don't have to worry about it, I guess is the way I would phrase it.
okay?
Put out one of these guys. Hey, buddy.
Let's get this over with.
Why don't you just walk over here?
Turn into a red mist.
And she comments all the time, especially when you're doing the more brutal attacks.
That drugs.
Explosive, whatever that is. But yeah, drugs. Let's see. Where'd he go? All right, so now I'll try this melee one-hit kill. Whoop. And over there, buddy.
I like that sometimes it's you want to draw guys in, not away.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
You're dead, asshole!
Oh, oh!
Look, buddy, don't do anything stupid now.
So what's your call here?
It's brutal out there.
But I notice you're also not necessarily like scouring bodies for a lot of gear.
Right. I think that's the last of them.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the enemies do produce drops, but you can't rely on it, which is exactly why, you know, this is a scenario where you had to take everyone out. And like I said, those do come up, but there are plenty where that is not the case. And those sections are always pretty obvious because they're really huge, multi-level sections where you have a number of approaches you can take. And even the ones where you kind of have to take everyone out to survive are countered with a moment like this where, all right, now that we've gotten everyone out of the way, like, let's scavenge around, see what we can
We
find.
can spend some time poking around this environment, finding the stuff that we need.
And just holy shit, this game looks amazing. Like, for all this talk, you know, and excitement around like next gen, like new technology, and certainly this game is a little rough around the edges in some places. But man, like, it has an illegal amount of art.
There's
like,
a density. I am reminded of Rage, another game where, at least, and Rage didn't do it all of the time, but there were sections of that game where just the architecture was so dense with detail, with just textural stuff going on. Nothing feels boilerplate. Nothing feels like, oh, we just slapped a thing on here. It seems, like they're really, really going for this specific sense of place.
And there are like large sections, especially the moments where you're getting downtime or you're just scavenging through abandoned towns, looking for stuff, and they're using environment art and notes left behind to kind of tell the stories of what happened to those people.
But like this liquor store, that's a liquor store. That's not a video game approximation of a liquor store.
Right. And it's just, but there's so many times where you don't have to go to certain places, and there's this completely absurd amount of unique art created just for those rooms.
Yep.
And it's just
that you might never see.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. But it's what allows them. It's what separates this from like. This is what you want from AAA games, right? Like you want this absurd amount of time and resources spent on like things that most reasonable studios would just say.
It's the lengths you have to go to really build atmosphere.
Right. And man, do they sell the world? They really sell the world in this game.
I guess at least when you're aiming for level of realism or verisimilitude.
See if you can get it propped open with something.
There's some pretty gnarly stuff in here.
Ellie!
Right. Okay, go!
All right, I got it.
Look.
Need any shoes?
Yeah. This is a fairly common way of how they communicate like stories of this world, is where you'll have an encounter with the group that is just completely random, and then as you kind of make your way through, you'll discover, oh, this is how they were surviving. You'll find scraps of paper like this that say, shows exactly
just what they've been
collecting from people over time. 8, nothing. Too busy chasing down that crazy chick. And then these are go slowly through sections when you play this game, because you want these little optional moments. A, if you're a trophy guy, they're tied to a trophy, but B, they produce some of the best moments in the game.
See, this could have been us.
And look at that, like she picks up objects like the, it's those little touches.
I knew I should have turned the damn truck around.
We lived.
Barely. Come on, let's get out of here.
And so tools are, I got a new item. Tools are, they upgrade your ability to, they level up your ability to upgrade your weapons. You'll come across crafting benches throughout the game. I'm not sure if I'll come across one while we're playing, but allows you to increase like the firing speed and things like that. And I was able to increase a whole lot of that stuff when I was playing, to the point that, as I was alluding to earlier, in terms of like even just my ability to hoard weapons and items, is sort of like, I can upgrade this, but I sort of don't want to, because
So what?
I want it to maintain a certain kind of experience.
On both sides.
Oh. So, you kill a lot of innocent people? We'll take that as a yes.
Take it however you want.
It's moments like that, like Joel's a bad dude.
Right.
Joel has seen some shit and done some shit.
And slept.
This feels pretty linear, though, as far as your path through this world. It doesn't seem like there's necessarily a ton of variation to where you're going. You think
For the most part,
accurate?
no. It is, you know, it is like Uncharted in that sense. You also find these training manuals that health kits are now 33% stronger.
A little gamey.
A little gamey, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of that stuff. Oh, here's a crafting bench. Oh, shit, that's right. Do I have? Oh, I do have it. Dude, I love bow and arrow in this game because of that. Look at that. Oh,
What?
it's
Just,
so
just
good.
having
just the draw.
the arc, or the
It's,
the actual.
it's all of it. Like, I love bow and arrows in video games, and this one is one of my favorites because, yeah, you have that arc. It's something you can modify, and it's also got, you know, that. And then also look at that, like, Joel cannot
little tension.
hold that very well.
That's probably high tension on that thing.
Yeah, and it's those little touches that make when you're playing, like, just, it can be goddamn intense, because if you're trying to get that headshot, 'cause you only want to use one of these arrows, like, it's hard to get that lined up. And there's a randomization to the arrow drops, so sometimes if you get a clean shot on someone, that arrow will be, you can pick that up again. But that is,
Pull it back out of the corpse.
it's like half the time it also seemed like they were just breaking.
So what are we going to do at this upgrade bench here?
So you see I upgraded to tools level 2, so you need tools level 3 and 4 in order to get some of the other stuff. These are pretty useful, so you'll see when I have to swap weapons.
Yeah.
So hold down X, he takes it out, you switch. That, you know, takes a good 5-6 seconds to do in the middle of a battle if you run out of ammunition. So if I upgrade this, that'll use up pretty much everything.
There we go.
Now I have access to 2 on here. Yeah, let's at least see what's around the corner.
Okay, so you don't have to.
I don't have to swap anymore.
into the
Now
bag.
it's basically just a fast, you know,
Yeah.
fast switch.
I don't think these guys were infected.
Well, it don't matter. Let's just keep moving. All right. Here's the bridge. That's our way out of here.
Hey, Ellie, slow down. Wait for me.
What? Right here.
How about you let me go first and keep your voice down?
Medicinal herbs. What are those little gear bits?
That's what you use at the upgrade benches.
Okay. It's just stuff.
Whistling.
Oh, good. Something else you can drive me crazy with.
Omar coming.
One of the collectibles you can get throughout the game are
Ellie.
these comic books she's
found another
reading.
one
You
of
can
them
collect
comics
you can
you
collect the
read.
whole series throughout the game. It's pretty neat. And they have actual
The actual art here.
and they have little summaries. It is nicely done. It is one of many. You know, this game is full of tiny.
Let's go read
touches.
the front page of the newspaper over here.
Epidemic, massive death toll.
What's the newspaper? What's there? The
No.
NDI Press.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we are right now.
Okay.
We could probably look at the 74
Here's Route
Fort-
74, Fort something. What happens when the food runs out?
You move. You know.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite stuff in games. Is just
I noticed the liquor store was full of fake, recognizable brand names for cigarettes and beer. And
they came up with their own fake Broken Disco,
oh, it's just
Romeo
some,
de
just
la
some
Steel.
concert flyer.
Duke
Hip-hop.
College,
April 17th.
Earth Day.
Yeah, just all this stuff that has to be produced.
Ellie, get down.
Where did you learn to shoot?
Oh, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
You had an entire flock. And
See if I can try and use this bow and arrow.
Wow.
Now you're really upset. Well, if you want some lessons, I'm more than willing to help you out. Yeah, whatever.
So as you play the game, you kind of get a sense of like how close you can be to guys if they're going to detect you, because you kind of got to take some risks. You do want to isolate people.
Ain't nothing here. Keep going.
You're hoping to get a headshot on this guy here.
The hell was that?
Yeah, man, what the fuck?
Nothing.
But you can distract them with your own arrow, so that actually ended up working out kind of okay.
Turned him around, stopped him in his tracks. Oh.
So actually, that's one really nice thing the game does. So listen. You hear that?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're spotted, but that gives you an indication. Well, now I got spotted. Oh, no, I didn't.
They just said man down.
Whatever. It's about that.
That's gonna bring more attention over here.
This is one of the other items. Whoop.
What was that?
Oh, that guy's face. That was just
Gotta make sure.
straight up unnecessary.
Sorry, so that's The Last of Us. I'll jump in quickly to show you the multiplayer is not up and running, but it should let me log in to at least show the setup.
We don't need to cut away here?
No.
Okay.
No. The game does have a new game plus. I believe the way it works is that it carries over your equipment and your upgrades, but it only lets you access the difficulty that you chose the original time, which seems weird.
So you can't like bump it up,
right? So if you want, and there is an achievement for beating on New Game Plus. So if you want that, now don't want to have to beat the game like 4 times. You probably want to start on a higher difficulty level. So Factions is the multiplayer mode in Last of Us, and I am not a multiplayer guy, but the 5 hours I spent playing this with a collection of writers and Naughty Dog employees was a ton of fun.
Is it cooperative, competitive?
It's both.
Okay.
So there's no like free-for-all deathmatch. It's 2 different supply raid and survivors. Eliminate all enemies to win the round. No respawns. Kill off the entire enemy team to win. Supply raid is. They're both really fun, and they're fun because the slow, deliberate pace means that a guy like myself, who's not Mr. Headshot, can kind of get by. Like I was playing a stealth character with the bow and arrow, having a lot of fun with it.
And that's a viable path.
Yep. Naughty Dog also seems to have learned from previous times where their Facebook and Twitter integration has been criticized, let's say, for
Rightfully
spamming.
so.
And this time around, it's just Facebook. But if you notice in the corner, it is pulling in people from my Facebook feed.
Yep, setting up perimeter alarms.
It basically, depending on how this little group that you're in charge of, like things are going better or worse for the people in your Facebook feed. So I'm on week 2, day 7. You need to survive longer and longer in order to have more customization options. And as you
look like an Uncharted villain.
Yeah. A pork pie? Is that a name of a something? That's that?
Yeah, it's a pork pie hat.
All right.
It's kind of hat. It's like Bryan Cranston's hat in Breaking Bad. Yeah,
oh,
that's
okay.
a pork pie.
All right. I'm okay with the pork pie hat then. As you go further, you're gonna have more and more survivors you need to take care of. So you see in the corner it says next unlock. That blue stuff is you collect that off of enemies when you kill them during the multiplayer games. So in addition to killing them, you need to run over to their bodies, loot these supplies, because you need 68 supplies per day before you're gonna have people start getting hungry or sick. And then at random times, or maybe it's predetermined, I'm not entirely sure, there'll be like events that occur that's like, oh no, like the infected are going to raid your camp. And then you'll have to do certain sub goals.
So all this stuff is persistent like over time?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So as you continue playing more matches, the days and weeks progress.
So what's determining your group, or is that just That's not actual people. That is just.
Yeah, that's just arbitrary. As you're surviving longer, I think that scales as
it's
you're
not
surviving.
like you've created a clan, because I see there's also clan info here.
Let's see what this says.
Just that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Some of this stuff may be different in the
can't
shipping
really
game, but it is fun. I don't, not for everyone. Possibly, I was here for the single player, but I will say that, like Uncharted, I wouldn't be surprised if people got strangely attached to this.
Sure.
Because I think it works pretty well. But,
Well, in the case of Uncharted, it was simply that the solid mechanics of the single player game were still solid in multiplayer.
Yeah, absolutely.
They applied them in a way that was fun. And Uncharted 2 had some. Can't remember if they did this in Uncharted 3, but Uncharted 2 had some specific co-op scenarios that played nicely.
There's nothing like that in Last of Us, but
Right.
they've already promised they're going to be doing single player and multiplayer DLC.
But
So
also
maybe that's something that they might explore later.
The way it sounds like this folds some cooperative elements, or at least team-based elements.
Right.
Seems like it might cover that, but this seems like an incredible package, a great way for Naughty Dog to send off their time with the PlayStation 3. They've had some highs at both ends of this generation, so I'm happy to see this game turn out as well as it did, and excited to see what the future holds for them. So.
Absolutely, yeah. It's an excellent game. Comes highly recommended. People should check it out.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you, Patrick. No, thank you.
Ah.